Captain, tupigie risto.
Mabron Jace. Yeah. Wacha ni washow vile msupa alinituma vitungu sokoni. Yaja? Nilikuwa naenda kulamba bet juu ya game moja. Nikauliza, yani naweza lamba bet juu ya game moja? Alafu madhawa vitungu akadai, jamani su kesho tuna betika. Nikamuuliza, naweza jitoa tu? Mzee mkoko akatokea akadai, ni mara ngapi ndakushow? Na betika unaweza cash out na withdraw bila charges.
Ala? Eti cash out na no withdrawal charges?
Kabisa. Ukibetika unapata mo. Pata mo na betika.
Hii story imeletwa kwako na Betika, the official sponsors of happiness. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18 years of age. This advert is authorized and regulated by the Betting Control and Licensing Board. License number BK281. Betika, jukwaa la mabingwa.
Hi everyone, this is Radull live on the 1st of January 2022. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody out there. I hope you enjoyed your holidays and make sure you continue to stay safe and look after yourself. Today on the show, opening the year is none other than the team captain of Kenya Amputee football, Dalmas Otieno. Dalmas, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Yes. How are your holidays?
Good. I enjoyed
good.
myself, relaxing after a long period of training.
A long season.
Yes.
Dalmas, first of all, tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got into football and what made you decide, I'm going to do amputee football as a profession, because it is your profession.
Yeah. First of all, I became an amputee at a very early age. I was 5 years old. I got an accident and lost my left leg. And, you know, at 5 years old, life hasn't started, you know. So I can just say I started my life as an amputee. And going through school, I went to Joytown Primary School, special primary school, which has children with physical disability. And, you know, I started playing there because we, you know, as students, we had our own school games. And so I started playing football there. It wasn't amputee football, but it was football still, but played by children with the disabilities.
At no point did you feel as an amputee that you were different or challenged, or because it happened at such a young age and because you went to a school for disabled children? Yes.
Well, I have never actually seen my situation as a challenge, because at 5 years old, when I lost my leg, before I lost my leg, I was still playing with kids normally. And then something happened and I lost my leg, and I still continued playing with them normally, you know, like nothing ever happened. And I remember, you know, playing, you know, bladder, kati, and all these games that we played when we were young. And, you know, sometimes they will divide the teams into two, like this team will be 5 people and this team will be 5 people, and they will say, we will add you Dalmas, so you're going to be 6 and then you're going to be 5. And I used to say, no, I'm not an extra here. I'm not different. Yes, we have to be. If it's 5, I'm going to be part of the five kids who are going to play each other. So I never wanted to be an extra anywhere. I wanted to be treated equally, and I played equally with all the other kids, and that's how I learned to grow, you know, in a positive.
That's amazing, because it means you had a really strong spirit from a very young age, which means your parents must have had a very strong impact in that.
Yes. When my parents told me that I'm gonna join Joytown Primary School for the physically challenged, I didn't know what that meant. until I got to the school and I met other kids who had different types of disability. Others were on wheelchairs, others were on crutches like me, others were on tricycles. And then at some point I felt like I didn't belong there. I don't know why, but I felt like I did not belong to that school. And I rebelled a little bit and told my parents that I wanted to go to the same school that my brothers and sisters went to, which was a day school and a school for, abled kids. And so they kept telling me, next time we're gonna transfer you to the school you want, and next time always became next time until I cleared primary school. So,
so it never happened.
It never happened, but I thank them for that because being in that school really taught me how to be independent and strong, have a strong personality, and just be positive about life. Yes.
So you get into secondary school. Did you go again to a special school in secondary, or you just joined?
Yeah. I went to Joytown Primary School, and just next to it was Joytown Secondary School. And I remember being in primary school, we would watch them play soccer over the fence. So we'd cheer because we didn't even know them. So we'll just pick a team. I'm gonna support the team wearing green, and the other team wearing red. Other will support the same team. And I remember I used to, sometimes shout and maybe say something bad to the players, and they mark me. They say, "If you come to high school, we will deal with you." So I made sure that we will, do whatever the people do for mones and monos. And I was so afraid, about going to Joytown High School. So I decided to go to Mombasa School for the physically handicapped, and they were rivals in inter-school games. So yeah, I joined Mombasa High School for the physically handicapped, and we used to meet Joytown in the inter high school games, and we used to beat them badly. Yes. So Mombasa was like Akina Kamkunji of those times. Yes.
Mombasa is very rich generally in football.
Yes.
It's not a bad background to have.
Yeah.
Then you finished school, and what did you do after that?
So I finished school in 203. Nimekula chumvi, usinione hivi. So 203, I finished school, and life became a bit boring. Because now in school, I used to play all these games. And then I come out of school, and now I have to shift my passion. And I started playing wheelchair basketball. Yes, wheelchair basketball, swimming. I have like 10 gold medals in swimming. Yeah. Yeah, so
I'll challenge you in swimming.
Yeah,
Swimming was my sport.
Yeah, so I tried swimming, I tried basketball. Actually, I played for the junior national team, Kenya junior national team. And we got, brought together in 3 weeks' time, and we were supposed to play a championship, a world championship. And we were beaten badly by South Africa. 11, 5 to 100, 65 to 5. You can imagine. Only 3 weeks, and you have to, play for your country in a national.
Which is unfortunate, and we'll get to that a bit later on about the organization of the sport generally. So, but then it means generally you're an athletic person, from swimming to basketball to, how did you settle now that football is what I'm going to do?
So I really wanted to play football for a long time, and before being an amputee football player, I used to play with my friends at home. Just training because I cannot qualify to play in the matches. So I'd just join them in training and play with them, and only be sidelined when they have to play in their matches, because of course they will not allow me to play with them. But I kept playing. Without getting worried about the situation or when I'm gonna play, and then by good luck, a certain guy from Turkey, his name is Mehmet Turkesh. He was posted to Kenya by his company. So when he came to Kenya, he decided to look for amputees, because back in Turkey he was training the Turkish national team and some other clubs in Turkey. So his passion was actually amputee football. That was his passion. So he looked for amputees. He, with a friend who knew him, introduced me to him. And then within, I think, 2 months, we were about 50 players. Yes. So we were actually training at the State House grounds in that, just behind
Kiwanja, I know it is. Where
Yes.
FC Leopards used to train.
So we started there. And so we were, others were amputees, others were not amputees. So we just came together, and those people who wanted to play, and then from there, then we decided, let's make it a purely amputee football team. Yeah, so we had a club called Valentine's Amputee Football Club. Yeah, that was the first club in Kenya for amputees.
I know for a fact that right now you don't have an active league, but are there clubs? How does it work in Kenya?
Yes, we have approximately 11 to 12 clubs, which others are registered. We have one registered in Nairobi Amputee Football Club. There's a club in Kakamega, Kisumu, Bungoma, what's in Gishu, there's one in Zoia, there's one in Kiambu. So we have clubs, but they are not really active. And that's the biggest problem we have at the moment.
Do people even organize? I saw there was a competition the other day, about a month, 2 months ago.
Yeah, we had a competition in October. Yes, in October, and that was just to select the national team. So actually that's what we usually do, because the clubs are not funded and they can't even go for training. They don't have equipment. So when we have an international match coming up, we call them for national trials, and then we pick players from these clubs.
Oh, Kenya.
Yes.
Oh, Kenya. Oh, Kenya.
Yeah.
Explain to us what amputee football is, because I know there are certain disabilities that you should have to qualify to play amputee football. Just explain it to us.
So amputee football is a sport played by amputees, as the name suggests, and for the goalkeepers, you have to have an arm missing. So one of your arm is totally not functioning. And if it's functioning, then it has to be tied against the body. Because if you use the arm to stop the ball, then it's a violation, it's a penalty, and you get a red card. And then
so you're only supposed to have one functioning arm?
One functioning arm. And for the infield players, you have to have one functioning leg. It could be like me, where your leg is amputated, or you could be, we call them less outre, where you have a leg but it's not functioning. And when you're playing the ball, you're not supposed to be, that leg's not supposed to be touching the ground. It's always supposed to be up. So they actually introduced a new rule that even when you don't have the ball, that leg should be up, because it's now a disadvantage to a person like me who doesn't have a leg at all.
Who's relying on two crutches and one leg.
So for you get to rest. For me, I don't get to rest at all. So they introduced that rule that you have to have your leg up in the air all the time. So it's a game played 50 minutes, 25 each half, and we have a smaller pitch which is 60 by 40 centimeters.
And it's seven aside.
Seven aside, yeah. 6 infield players and a goalkeeper. And we use the crutches, of course. These are our legs. But you're not supposed to use it to handle the ball. So if the ball touches the crutches, that's a handball.
Oh.
That's a handball, because actually it's the extension of your arms. So it's a handball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's supposed to be 2 crutches. If you play with 1 crutch, it's a violation. And I remember even Juicy in our tournament, we got a yellow card for a player playing the ball when one of the crutches is on the ground, which felt a bit off, but yeah.
It fell during during a tackle or something.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a simple game, and the rules are almost the same as the normal football, only that we use crutches, and we have a smaller pitch, and we are 7 players and not 11.
What position do you play?
I play as a striker, but sometimes I'm versatile. I can even play in the midfield or even at the defense if need be.
You're bad news like that.
Not really, but sometimes you're forced to, because I've played for a team which didn't have very good players, and sometimes you have to play all the positions. As much as it's difficult, but then you cannot stay up front when your team is being attacked, and you have to come back and defend. Sometimes you find yourself in the midfield. You also have to take the ball from the midfield and go score. So it's sometimes you have to play all the roles. Yeah.
So you were telling me there's no active league. So these clubs, they're more like amateur clubs where you play on the weekends or something, and then you wait for tournaments in the national team.
Yes. Actually, not weekends, because if I remember the last time before October, when these clubs played or met to play together was in 2018. And that was to select the national team for the World Cup, which was in 2018. And then after 2018, after coming back from the World Cup, the clubs went, whatever, because they don't have stadiums to train, they don't have crutches at all. So the only club that is active is the Nairobi club, because we train thrice a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at the City Stadium. That's the only active club. The rest are there. They have players, but they don't have resources to make them go train, and but they're there. And we have enough players in the country, more than enough. But they're lacking just the resources and the financial support.
The organization.
Yes.
I know that you have a federation which has been running since, is it 2010? This Turkish guy, at what point does he hand over and let Kenyans take over? What happened?
Wow, whatever happened is a good and bad story. So he actually handed over the federation in 2013, 2012, 2013. And it was something that I felt bad personally, because he supported Amputee football from his own pocket. We didn't have sponsors, and we had everything that we needed. He actually built a structure that we could call a home, which even has like rooms where people can sleep, a room where we could even make a hotel, and earn a living from it, make something for the club, even an office, complete with everything. We had more than 3 uniforms. He literally did it from his own pocket. And he used to say, I'm working an extra day every Sunday for you guys. And we cannot thank him enough, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think Kenya would be anywhere in Amputee.
We'd never have taken off at all.
At all. And wrangles came by where people from the federation, our own people, started fighting him because they want to kick him out, because he doesn't want things to be done under the table. And eventually he went. He left.
Anyway, our own worst enemy.
That's true. He actually left because, and when he stopped being the the coach, he decided to transfer to another country, because he could not sit here and just see us being misled and being mistreated. He decided to just take a transfer and go to another country, and he did the same thing that he did here in that country. So we usually talk. When I post my football photos, he always comments with some old photos where we started, and it feels bad sometimes, because I know the message is trying to push for.
You know where we could have been if either he had stayed or we had picked up with the seriousness it deserved.
Wow. Well, let me tell you one thing. When we hosted the Cup of Nations in 2013.
Here in Kenya?
In Kenya, yes.
Yeah.
It was something which was badly organized, and at some point we were even getting locked in the hotel because the bills had not been paid.
Oops.
We had 6 countries. Kenya, there's Sierra Leone, Angola, Nigeria, Ghana. And the Ghanaian team, when they came, they didn't have accommodation for them. It was never paid for. So he took the Turkish guy, Mohamed Turkish, he took the Ghanaian team and put them in the structure that he had built. He fed them there for the entire period of the tournament. He gave them transport from the stadium to where they were sleeping. Actually, it's at the Pangani. The Pangani, there's a school there. Pangani police station. There's a school next to Pangani police station. And then there's a field there. So the structure is actually in the school compound.
Pangani girls?
Pangani boys.
Pangani boys.
Pangani boys. There's a school.
I know just across the road from the police station, yeah.
Yeah, but just opposite the police station, Pangani, there's a school. And then it's in that compound. And it's still there.
So he would go out of his way to make sure this
Yes.
worked. Then who? Okay, I don't need the names of who took over, but what happened? We decided we want to own this sport by ourselves, and clearly we couldn't.
Yeah, so they said a foreigner cannot be a chairman of a Kenyan institution, so he has to give way to the Kenyan people, and that's what he did.
Which in a way that makes sense, as in we need to reclaim our own sport, but we then need to come in and do it properly.
Exactly.
Learn from him, don't throw him out completely.
Yes.
You keep him there either as a technical support advisor or something like that.
Yeah, so I think the wrangle started because there was some money that was, I don't know, came from where, and then it was not, used properly the way it was supposed to be used, and then that's where this problem started. And so they had to, do away with him to save themselves. And it is a bad thing, but it happened, and from there we just tried to, make things work for us, which at some point, yes, things worked. At some point, things did not work, but we're still pushing on.
I know we went for, I think it was it 2014? We went for the World Cup, then we went
Yes.
again in 2018.
Yes.
So 2014, how did it come about?
So
that we
2014.
went for the World Cup.
Because at that point, we didn't have qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So because even amputee football was still growing, and some countries were not part of the WAF, World Amputee Football Federation. So the
Well,
members,
we were.
we were, because we were actively playing, and we had already submitted our documents to the WAF. So they recognized Kenya as one of their affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got the chance to go play at the World Cup. So the criteria was whoever pays the affiliation fees before a certain time of, a deadline. And Kenya qualified that way. So we went, that was our first World Cup, our first major tournament, and it was bad.
Baptism of fire.
Yes, we had players who could play well, but the management part of the whole thing was bad.
Because if you've not properly been groomed, you've not been playing friendlies, you've
Yes.
you've not even been playing together as a team,
Yes.
then as usual, we're unprepared.
So remember, the first match we played against Russia, who were the world champions that year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are supposed to play in 30 minutes and we don't have uniform. Trust me, we went to the stands and there were some fans who were wearing some vests which were uniform, like the 6 of them. And that's what we borrowed. Exactly. We borrowed a uniform from the fans
And you're at the World Cup,
at the World Cup,
representing Kenya,
Kenya. So I remember
a
the
country
national,
that has a sports ministry.
the national anthem playing, and you're emotional. Not because you're proud of your country, not because you're feeling like, I'm here for my country. You're feeling sorry for yourself. You're almost crying. The guys are crying because they're proud. You're crying because you're sad. At the World Cup and you don't have a uniform. For the first match, we were clobbered 4-0, so that was the result of the game. But even at 4-0, it was a massive performance for us. It's Russia, it's the world champions.
It's the world champions.
Yeah. So we were playing our hearts out.
Because you can't, there are 2 levels to being a good sports person. There's physical and there's mental, spiritual and everything.
Which
so if
is
you're,
very
if you're
important.
not in the right place, you've not been trained properly physically, and mentally you're just finished.
Yes.
You can't play like that.
Yeah, I think we got our uniform when we were playing our last match against Colombia. And actually they were not even national jerseys. I remember somebody came with, because we have clubs, Kakamega, there were some written Mombasa, so they were uniform for the clubs and not for the national team. And I remember that game
Because they were uniform,
yeah,
you used them.
yeah, we beat Colombia 5-0, I think, in the last
Wow.
match. Yes, and that was I think the only match we won in the 2014 World Cup.
So jump from 2014 World Cup to 2018 World Cup, will you qualify again?
Yeah.
Were you given any recognition in between then, any support?
So, those are like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
in between. And I don't think we were given any recognition as much as we traveled to play in the World Cup, and we forced our way to the World Cup. Because I remember we submitted, or the federation submitted our budget 4 or 5 months prior. And we got a promise from the ministry that this will be looked into, and we will support you guys. And also they give us a go ahead, go and look for some other funds from corporates and well-wishers. So we trained, and I remember I traveled from Turkey for training, because now we had to join camp. And then arriving here, the camp never happened. So we were just going, coming from home to the training field every day. And then we had players coming from Kakamega and Mombasa, and some from Kisumu. They don't have any relatives in Nairobi. They don't have money for accommodation. So we had to accommodate.
And you're training
this
for the World Cup?
For the World Cup.
To go and play for Kenya?
Yes.
Heaven forbid you win. All of a sudden, we'll all want to be your friends.
Yeah.
Well, I want us to take a short break. This conversation is far from over. I want us to take a short break. When we come back, I want to know what your wish list is in terms of support, where you want the federation to go in terms of creating a league. That conversation is coming up in just a bit. Guys, don't go anywhere.
Captain, tupigie Risto.
Mabron Jace. Yeah. Wacha ni washow vile msupa alinituma vitungu sokoni. Aja. Nilikuwa naenda kulamba bet juu ya game moja. Nikauliza, yani naweza lamba bet juu ya game moja? Alafu madha wa vitungu akadai, jamani, su kesho tunabetika. Nikamuuliza, naweza jitoa tu? Mzee wa mkoko akatokea akadai, ni mara ngapi ndakushow? Na betika unaweza cash out na withdraw bila charges.
Ala? Eti cash out na no withdrawal charges?
Kabisa. Ukibetika, unapata mo. Pata mo na betika.
Hii story imeletwa kwako na Betika, the official sponsors of happiness. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18 years of age. This advert is authorized and regulated by the Betting Control and Licensing Board. License number BK281. Betika, jukwaa la mabingwa.
Welcome back. This is Radull Live, and I'm here with Dalmas Otieno, the captain of the Kenya Amputee football team. And yeah, we're having a very interesting conversation here. And in Kenya, you have to have the spirit and the heart to do it yourself. Dalmas, before the break, you were telling me how you went for the World Cup.
Yeah.
In 2014, you didn't even have kit. You borrowed kit from fans in the stand. 2018, still no camp. Yet you're supposed to go and play at a World Cup. At the time you were playing, because you have played professionally for international clubs. Tell us about that.
So
then we come back to the Kenya conversation.
Yeah. So the same Turkish guy, Mehmet Turkesh, when he was leaving Kenya, he saw that I had talent. So he said, "I will get you to Ankara. There's a club there, and my friend is the coach of the club, and you can just try, see if you can fit in." So he took me and another player called Daniel Safari, and we went to Ankara. He paid for everything. And getting to Ankara, it was the biggest club in Turkey, like the champions of the Turkish Amputee Football League. Wow, it was tough. Because now coming from Kenya, where you have nothing, you don't have even the resources, you don't have any, and you go to this club where they have 2 fields, They have a place for accommodation. They have like restaurant and everything is in place. And so we started and training, and they're just gauging us how good we are, and if we really know how to play this game. And we proved ourselves, and we got signed.
Wow.
Yeah. So I played for it. By then it was called IBESC, and we both got signed at IBESC. I played for 6 months at IBESC, and then I got a transfer to another club called Adana. And at Adana I played for, I think, a year. And then the club that I played against when I was playing for Adana, they saw, oh, this guy is good. So they signed me as well. That was Shanurfa Ayubie. So at Shanurfa I played for 6 years. Until now I decided to retire. Yeah.
But how do you feel when you see how organized leagues are happening and at home there's nothing? Because we complain about things of unemployment, all these things, yet here is an industry that you could develop and give people jobs.
That's why, and that's whatever you're saying now is what made me retire. Because I was back in Turkey and I'm playing in this big league. Actually, it's the biggest league in Europe. There's no league like the Turkish Amputee Football League.
Really?
Yeah, because
and you were playing for the biggest team at some point?
Yes.
With your raw talent, so to speak?
Yes. And because we have players from like the whole of Ghanaian national team plays in Turkey. We have players from Russia. We have players from Nigeria. They all play in that league. And they have really realized that Africans have talent. And that's why they poach Africans to come and play in that league. And so, at that stage where I think I'm in Turkey playing this beautiful game, and back in Kenya, we have talent as well, but they're not being supported in any way. The talents are just, getting wasted. And after 6 years, I'm like, okay, maybe this is time I should just sacrifice myself and say, let me go back to Kenya and try help the federation stand on its own and somehow try to create a league. And that's actually the main reason why I decided to stop playing in Turkey. My team never wanted me to go. I remember I broke my leg in 2017, but they stuck with me. They said, you're not going anywhere.
Because they knew you'll recover, you'll come back and you'll make a contribution.
Yeah, because I recovered after, I think, a year, and I still played for 2 more years at the same club. And by then I was like, okay, guys, you need to allow me to get you another player who will now help me, play together with the other players. And I got another player from Kenya here, who's the best player in Kenya. He's like the top scorer.
What's his name?
Every season, Mohamed Munga.
Mohamed Munga.
He's the top scorer for every season in Turkey. So he came in 2017, and at that point I was like, okay, now this is my exit point. You have Munga, who is even better than me. He's good than me. So let me try and exit. And they still know you cannot leave. You wait for next season and maybe then you can leave. And then Corona came, and then I said, yes, maybe this is the time. This is time now. And I used Corona as an excuse, and I exited.
So you're here trying to build.
Yes. So I'm here because I decided, let me just come and try and be part, because I'm not part of the federation. I'm not an official. I'm not an elected official. But I said I have experience in what should be done as for a league to run. I've played in Turkey for the 7 years, and I know the structures that have been put there. And if I can just give ideas to our federation officials, then maybe we can make a step.
Are they listening to you?
I hope they are. Sorry. Because I have not seen my president for the last 8 years.
For the last 8 years?
8 years.
And he's the president of the federation?
President of the federation.
And you're the captain of the national team?
I'm the captain of the national team. We have played in the last 2 World Cups. I've not seen him.
But then we can't even blame the sports ministry. Not even the federation is letting you down.
You cannot. Because as much as we have blamed the ministry, then we at some point we
you haven't organized yourselves
have
as well.
Problem. is the federation.
Although the ministry can also rein in the way they're doing for football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because our president, his name is Muli, let me just say. His name is Stephen Muli. I think I see him on Facebook. I think he's in USA now, doing his own biasharas. And so here we have Peter Law, who is the SG of the federation. And he's been doing everything by himself. Because now the president is not there. We have a treasurer who's also not there. And so he's a lone man, you know.
How are your officials not there? Then who's looking after the sport?
So
because how do we take this sport to the next level? Because at the end of the day, you still have the federation still has to do the work.
Yes.
How do we take this sport to the next level?
So I think it just comes down to, because I think the elected people who do not have passion for the sport. Our president does not have passion for the sport. You cannot be a president of a federation and not be there for 8 years. Even buying
how is he elected? When is he elected? When does his term end?
It ended a long time ago because the elections were done in 2014. So we are now in 2021, right? So
so
the
elections just haven't happened
now. They never happened.
And everybody's ignoring this problem.
And that's actually the, like we failed to qualify for the World Cup, and I'm a bit happy that we did not qualify. Because this is now the time that we have to bring our house in order. We'll not have to give excuses that we have World Cup coming up, guys, let's continue with the same office, or we have Sekafa coming up. No. We have enough time to bring this federation into good hands that will make this sport grow tremendously, because we can do it.
And this is really frustrating because last month you were in Tanzania. Was
Yes.
last month or early this month? Last month.
No, this month.
Early this month.
Yeah.
You were in Tanzania, recording very good results. I was posting some of these results on my platforms. And I know we missed the World Cup by a single goal to Morocco. So we could have been going to the World Cup. But we are arguably one of the best in Africa. Who's organizing all this? Since the federation is dead, who's organizing us to go for these regional and international tournaments?
So Peter Law is the SG now. And so he's been doing this all by himself. He gets correspondence from the WAF, World Amputee Football Federation, and so I came in to try and help him. And I'm standing in for the treasurer at the moment. I'm not elected. I'm just there.
Where's the treasurer?
I'm just there. The treasurer is there, but he's
too busy.
Some.
But then why don't they
cases.
give their seats up?
They cannot. They can only do that through election, and the election that they've been evading for a long time. But now is the time now. We have to have our elections, because even the ministry acknowledges that federations now should have elections, I think by the end of December. So I think we should have our elections latest by January. If we are too late, by January we should have elections.
Will you run for office?
Well, Ground, they want me to run for it.
Yes.
But on the other hand, I'm not very sure, because I might not be in the country for some time, and I don't think that's going to be good for the federation. I have other plans, I'm growing old, and my dad is asking, hey, what's happening? Mtu wako wapi?
But you can't abandon the sport, Dalmas. You've been there from the beginning. We need somebody like you to take this sport to the next level, because clearly other people don't seem to care.
Yeah, but I think even if I don't go for that top position, but I'll try and be somewhere in the federation
where you can still make a contribution.
Yes, because I think the sport deserves the right people, because we've been here for the last 11 years. I'll give an example. Tanzania, I think 3 years into the sport, they have a league. Rwanda, they are, I think 2 years into the sport, they have a league. Cameroon, their first tournament was 2019 in Angola, when they played the AFCON. They have a league. Kenya, we've been here for 11 years. We don't even have a small league. Ili ya kusema maybe we'll play for a month and break. So you can
for
see.
lack of a better term, we're still scratching our balls.
Yes, yes.
Shame on us.
And I think that you know, as much as we will blame the government for failing to give us even kits, the problem starts with us.
With you, because I was going to go where the corporates were, but a corporate can't even come in to a disorganized federation and sponsor what?
Yeah.
You can't sponsor a club because they have a competition only when they're when you're looking for players.
Yes.
There's no league to sponsor. So you can't even go to the national team. Who's handling the money if the chairman is in the States?
Yeah.
Doing biashara.
Yeah. So I remember, you know, when we organized the championship for the national team selection, and the chairman, the president, we're in the same WhatsApp group, and we were posting all this progress, how far we've gone, if the sponsor is going to come in or not. And then when things happened, then he was writing in the group like, I want to report. Report for what? When we were doing all this planning and looking for money for this, where were you? I asked him the same, where have you been for the last 8 years? You are a president, yes, but it's just a name you have. You have not.
So what does he say when he's challenged? He disappears.
Yeah, he disappears because he doesn't have an answer. For the last 8 years, I'm playing this sport actively. I've not even seen him bring 2 crutches in the game. You know, not even a single ball to play.
Do you play with regular balls?
Yeah, regular balls. And I remember even prior going to Tanzania for the AFCON, we were only playing training with two footballs for the entire time until Musa Otieno came in and he gave us some training kits and 7 other balls to play.
But I think it's Musa who sent me information that this was happening. You know.
Yeah.
Then you also sent me a lot of stuff on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
This is eesh.
So you can imagine a national team not even a residential training camp, a normal training day using 2 footballs, one for the goalkeepers and one for the players. And then you expect to go to AFCON and beat Ghana, beat Angola. It's not easy. Angola were camping in South Africa for the last 4 months prior to the tournament. Morocco were in camp for 5 months. Egypt were in camp for, I think, 2 months. We only camped for 1 week as a national team. 1 week.
And we did well.
We did
so well.
We did well because I remember we were actually in the same group as Angola. And Angola are the world champions.
Angola are the world champions?
They are the world champions, even now. They won the last World Cup in 2018. They beat Turkey in the finals. So Angola are the world champions as we speak. We're in the same group with them. So we qualified from the group with Angola, and then we met another giant who is Ghana. And Ghana, all their players, they only came 8 players in the tournament, all from Turkey to Tanzania. And they're all playing in the Super League in Turkey. So they have they inform, they have the match fitness, and then you meet Kenya, who's only trained for 1 week as a national team.
And we beat them?
No, they beat us.
Oh, Ghana beat us?
Ghana beat us 4-0, which is understandable. They even beat Angola 3-0. And Angola are the world champions. So I think Ghana, they're not world champions because they missed the last 2 World Cups. Otherwise, they will be top. Yes.
So we can't even go into development of the game because if you don't even have a league, what are you developing? You know, how do we get coaches? Who coaches us? So we just coach ourselves.
Well, we've had three coaches since the sport began, and the coaches that we try to maintain because those are the people we have. They're the people who understand the sport. As much as sometimes I feel that we need to also grow, you know, because you cannot fail in this World Cup and fail in the next World Cup and then use the same people. Even as players, the players who played in the 2014 World Cup are not the same players who played in 2018. So we keep on progressing and improving because we have young talent. And that's why actually we perform better because we don't rely. Now I'm trying to get out of the sport and try to at least
let the youth take over.
Yes, because we have youth, we have players who are even 19. We have a player from Malindi, he's 16 years old. Really good. So we want to build that
But
the
if
young
you don't
players.
have enough coaches, because you said we have clubs all over the country,
Yes.
which means they're all using amateur coaches,
Yes.
which means we're not getting proper technical training at any level.
Yes, and actually that's our biggest downfall. Because I remember in TZ, our game against Egypt, we had some Kenyan team, I think handball, who were playing in Dar es Salaam at the same time. So there's a friend of our TM who came to our match, and actually he got allowed to sit in the technical bench, and he really helped us. The way he was speaking, the way he was encouraging the team, we were 3-2 down at halftime against Egypt. And then in the second half we came and we won the match 5-4.
Wow.
And Egypt trained for 4 months prior to the tournament. And you could see the way he's speaking, the way, he has something that our coaches do not have. Sometimes it's not about the technique, it's not about how you train in the pitch. It's even how you speak to the
Your
players.
ability to inspire,
Because I think we even said if it wasn't for him, maybe we would not have won the match. Because the way he spoke with us at halftime, and the way he was, because we have timeouts, like two timeouts in a match. The way he was just speaking to the players was just inspirational enough to make these boys go and fight.
Believe they can do this.
Yes, and we beat them.
It's so frustrating. It's because the raw talent is just so unbelievable, and the gap between us and these Ghana and the Angolas of this world is not that big.
The gap between us and Angola right at the moment is the facilities and the support to be able to train enough. That's the only difference we have. Because Angola, they have everything they need. They have a league, they train continuously without breaking. I think we had like 5 players in the team who they only trained, the last time they played football was 2018 at the World Cup. So after the World Cup, they go back to their counties.
To life.
They don't have support to play. They don't have the clubs. The clubs are there, but they don't have even football. They don't have crutches. They don't have. So they just go and do their normal hustle until the next World Cup. So you cannot expect this player who played lastly
3 years ago.
3 years ago to compete with this player from Ghana who's just coming from a league.
A league game
a
last
national
week.
league, yes, a Super League match. So that's the only difference we have. If these players can get to play in a league, even if it's not like 8 months, we can just start slowly, maybe quarterly. We can meet in Nairobi for even a weekend, play, and then meet maybe after 4 months and play again. Quarterly is enough for us to start, so that these players they'll know we have a match in at the end of the month. They'll be training, but they have nothing to train for. They only have to train. They train for the World Cup, they train for the Sakafa, they train for the AFCON. That's the only thing they train for, and that's the problem. But these Ghanaians, they are in the Super League in Turkey. Angola, they have their own league in their own country. They have their professional players also in Turkey. So we cannot actually match. These people, they are very fit, extra fit for us. But I believe we have enough talent here. We have Nicolas Kejo playing in Super League for the champion team in Turkey. He's playing there for the last 5 years. Munga.
And yet he was not professionally trained from a young age.
Yes. We have Munga who just won the Division 1 league in Turkey, and they qualified for Super League now. So we have 3 players playing in Super League in Turkey from Kenya.
What is in plan for 2022? Do we have anything planned for 2022? Any competitions?
Well,
apart from throwing out the federation officials.
Number one, actually, we have to go through elections.
Yeah.
And then after elections now, we can sit down and have a proper plan for the amputee, for the whole year, because we need a league.
Yeah.
We need a league at all cost. Without a league, then we are doing nothing. Because I'd rather we play, we have a national league, which will run for 8-9 months, and not even play in the World Cup. Because the World Cup is just something that will come and go.
It's a one-off, and
In a
then
one-off,
you wait 4 years again.
wait 4 years again. And if, well, the government will give you some allowance, for playing for Kenya for those 2 weeks. But if you can have a league where these players can even get some allowance every single weekend.
That's employment.
For 8 months, 9 months, that's employment enough. It's even better than whatever you get at the World Cup or AFCON. So I think our federation needs to come sit down, build a structure, a proper plan for at least 8 months where these players will play consistently without stopping. And then after that, we can say, okay, now we are even ready for CECAFA. We can say, now we are ready for AFCON, we are ready for the World Cup. But we go to the World Cup unprepared, which as much as we perform, we are 12th in the world.
We're 12th in
12th
the world.
in the world. Yes, we beat USA, we beat Ireland, we drew with Japan, who are
with all this
best
mediocrity.
nation. Yes. So just imagine if we had the full support and we had a league here which is running consistently, players are form, we'd even be the world champions. I believe we will be world champions.
You know, I'm even getting tears in my eyes because it's so. It's disheartening, eh? It's disheartening.
Very, because I look at when we're in TZ, and you look at this player. There's a guy called Ignatius Hayombi. He lives in Kakamega. So when he's not playing, he has this he's like in Halwale, bullfighting. That's his job. That's what he does. And you can look, if you look at him, he has the ability to be the best defender in the world. But now he's lacking the support that he needs. Because I remember he played in all our matches. But if you look at him against a striker from Angola and Ghana, you can just see where the difference is. But he has the talent, he has the ability, he has the physique, he has everything. Only the training that he doesn't have.
And we're wasting him. We are the ones wasting him.
Yes, because I believe he can play in Turkey. He can play in the Polish league or the Russian league if he gets the support he needs. We have the talent here. There's this kid from Malindi, 16 years old. He played at the championship here. And I was ready to get him in the national team, but only that he doesn't have the documents, He has the next 5 years, this kid, he'll be in Turkey. He will be in Turkey because he has the talent, you can see that. And from what I hear, we have about 11, 12 players in Malindi. Amputees who are very good.
Caliber.
Yeah.
And yet you people stay in such high spirits. I see you dancing all the time on TikTok and Instagram, man.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to relieve the stress, Yeah. We forget about the problems and, just live life, hata kama ni siku moja. Ufurahia tu maisha. Naona. Because I'd like to actually thank the Ministry of Sports. For this time, they came through. They came through for the national team. We had...
For this last tournament.
Yeah, for the Tanzania tournament, the AFCON. Because we were like, hey, guys, kesho tuvae nguo gani? Tuvae red ama tuvae green? It never happened before. We had options. We had options.
You didn't have to go to the fans.
We had options like, hey, kesho asubuhi, I'm sending a text, tunavaa red kesho. The next day tunavaa green. They bought for us soccer boots, We had viatu za kutembea.
But I wish the sports ministry can stay with it. Don't come in at intervals.
Yes.
In fact, don't give me fish, teach me to fish. Yes. Give me the resources to fish.
Yes.
Actually,
what
because
I hope
soccer boots, thank you for the soccer boots, but that's stuff that should come from sponsorships, from clubs, from
it's something that
from donors like Radull. Radull should give you footballs,
the ministry gave us the footballs,
the ministry should make sure the sport is running.
Yes. The thing I'm thanking the government for is in a like something that is normal. I should be thanking them for that.
Exactly.
But I'm thanking them because it's a surprise for us. It's something that never happened
anything
before.
In the past.
Yes. So I think if the ministry can continue with that spirit and embrace us, just like they embrace Harambee Stars and give them the support they need, because I believe we can bring them glory here. We can bring them that World Cup trophy that Harambee Stars failed to bring. We can bring them that AFCON Cup that Harambee Stars even failed to qualify for. Yeah. You know, because we have the potential, we have the everything. You know, we have the players.
It's just the support.
The support.
So now you have to have a side hustle.
Yeah, otherwise things will be bad, you know, because I cannot depend on World Cup after AFCON, after CANAF.
You can't wait for 4 years to feed your family.
No. And it's something that I think every player, every footballer, every sports person should do, because even you know, getting injured, you know, like in 2017 when I broke my leg, it's the only leg I have. And then I'm like, it was actually the lowest moment of my life. My question was, okay, what next? Am I going to be using a wheelchair for the rest of my life? I need to get prepared for this now. Because it was like I twisted my ankle completely. It was looking up like this. And I remember the player, because it was on a training session. The players came and they were like, they could not look at my leg. And then I didn't realize how bad it was, and until I lifted my leg and checked, I was like, Lipiga Nduru. I just screamed, not because I was in pain, but because of the state of the leg. And then I was like, okay, so what next? So if I had not recovered, and then I didn't have a side hustle, what would I
or even
have
a
done?
club that
Yes.
could see you through the treatment, because
Yes.
players that can't even get the treatment.
Yeah, because I remember I went through a surgery. I have a metal plate in my leg right now, which has not even been removed. And I was like, what if I was in Kenya now? What would have happened? I don't think I would have played football at all again in my life. It would have been a wrap for me. I would just be either using a wheelchair or I don't know. So I have a side hustle. I have a boutique in town. I import clothes and shoes and handbags from Turkey.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's good, and people should support you.
Yeah.
I'll tag you on Instagram, so make sure you put stuff there so that we know how we can support you. But Dalmas, thanks for having this conversation, man. You've opened my eyes. I mean, I know sport in this country is in a bad state, but now is even a whole new level, considering the potential we have.
Yes.
And I think it's shame on us, shame on the sports ministry, shame on the federation. And I just hope that this year, 2022, you can get that, at least the federation running and a league, some level of a league operational. Yeah. But thanks for coming to Radull Live.
Thanks for having me.
And for bombarding my WhatsApp. This guy's in my WhatsApp.
It's the biggest show, so why not? You know, being on Radull Live is like being on, you know, the biggest show in this continent. So.
No, but it's a good job you're doing, because you feed me with so much information. For the last few, you're telling me I interviewed you in 2013.
Yes,
wow,
I can't even remember that. Yeah, I was in I think Classic 105 that time.
Yeah,
on the radio. Yes.
I'm old. I should retire. But thanks, Dalmas, and send best wishes to the team. Yes. And I just hope that people are listening. But let's keep talking, because things have to change this year. Things have to change this year.
Yes.
So thank you guys for watching Radull Live, the opening show of the year. I'm inspired. I'm also challenged, and I hope that's the type of year we're going to have in 2022. But we will see you again next week when we have another conversation. So stay safe.